Hey everybody on YouTube, this is Kyle Snyder once again, aka Clipton, continuing on with the top 10 most controversial calls of all time in the NFL. For those of you who haven't seen the previous videos, here's the list so far. Number 10, Matt Hasselbeck's incomplete pass to himself. Number 9, the Mike Renfro catch. Number 8, the Burt Emanuel catch. Number 7, the Holy Roller. Number 6, Super Bowl 40. Number 5, the 2002 Giants vs. 49ers wildcard ending. Number 4, 4th and 2. Number 3, the Immaculate Reception. And number 2 on the list, the number 2 most controversial call of all time, which is also the number 2 most controversial call of all time, according to NFL Network, the Tuck Rule play. And I know, Brian, if you're watching this, I have heard your tirade, I have heard your rant on how the Tuck Rule is an awful rule and how it should be done away. But for those of you who don't know what the Tuck Rule play is, for those NFL fans who have basically been living in a cave for a long time, or for those of you who have never heard about this, let me explain it. It was basically the 2001 divisional playoff game between the Oakland Raiders and the New England Patriots. The game was played in a heavy snowstorm. It was basically, when I heard that it was going to snow during the game, I was like, I have to watch this game. Because I was growing up in the San Francisco Bay Area, which is, Oakland, San Jose, San Francisco. So I basically had to watch this to see how it would go. And, it was a pretty hard game for both teams because both teams were pretty much struggling through the weather conditions early on in the game. But eventually the Oakland Raiders found their groove and they managed to go up 13-3 into the fourth quarter. But eventually, the New England Patriots, they eventually managed to score a touchdown with about 7 minutes remaining. But anyways, and after that touchdown, 13-10, it basically goes back and forth. New England eventually gets the ball back, and they have one final offensive drive in regulation. And with about 1 minute and 47 seconds left to play, that's where the Tuck Rule play happens. Tom Brady takes the snap, tries to throw the ball to his intended receiver, but sees that he's covered. He tries to avoid throwing the ball, but then Charles Woodson hits him. Ball comes out. Greg Biekert, another defender on the Oakland Raiders, dives on the ball. Looks like they have it. Now, before I go on with this, here's the thing. A lot of people argue that Charles Woodson roughed the passer, that he hit Tom Brady in the head. Well, here's the thing. Tom Brady was not roughed. Okay, Charles Woodson did not commit a roughing the passer call because from the back view, from the back angle showing Tom Brady's back, it clearly shows that Charles Woodson hit Tom Brady's shoulder, not his head. From the side views, yeah, it looks like he hit Tom Brady in the head, but the back view clearly shows that the hand and the arm never touched Tom Brady's helmet. So basically, it looks like the Raiders have it won. The Patriots have no timeouts. They can't stop the clock. But then the replay booth buzzes down referee Walt Coleman to review the play. And I was like, why on earth are they reviewing the play? It's a clear fumble. And when they were showing the replays, it showed the play, and I was like, yeah, his arm may be going forward, but he's clearly stopping the motion. He's not trying to throw the ball anymore. But then, and I was like thinking to myself, there's no way this is going to get overturned. There's no possible way. And then Walt Coleman, after looking at the play, comes out and says, after reviewing the play, the quarterback's arm was going forward. It is an incomplete pass, 2nd and 10 on the 42. And after I heard that, I immediately yelled at the TV, how is that an incomplete pass? It wasn't until the night after that we heard about the Tuck Rule, which basically states that if a quarterback is trying to throw the ball, then decides not to and tries to tuck the ball back into his body, if he gets hit and loses the ball, it's still a pass based on the arm going forward motion. And, at this point I was like hoping that New England would not come back from this. But Adam Vinatieri, with a few seconds left in the fourth quarter, manages to score a 45-yard field goal to tie it up and send it into overtime. And then, obviously, in overtime, the Patriots got the ball first. They drove the ball down for an easy field goal. I was praying that it wouldn't go in, but it went in, and it was a very devastating loss for the Oakland Raiders. I mean, it was talked about for a very long time. And the reason why this play is so controversial is because very few people, if any, knew that this rule existed at the time. It wasn't until the night after that we found out about the tuck rule. And, to this day I still don't agree with the ruling of the tuck rule play, but I accept it nonetheless because it is in the rule books. But still, after that game, it's just the Raiders weren't the same. I mean, their head coach, John Gruden, got traded to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and it was a boneheaded move on the Raiders' part at the end, because the next season, the Raiders, they managed to get to the Super Bowl the next season, but the team they had to play against was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the team that John Gruden was coaching at that time, and John Gruden knew all the plays of the Oakland Raiders. It was an easy victory for the Tampa Bay Bucks to win the Super Bowl, and yeah, the Raiders, they just aren't a successful. They just haven't been a successful team ever since. I mean, they no longer had that swagger. They no longer had that domination type of mantra. Yeah. I hope the Raiders will eventually come back. I hope they'll eventually be playoff contenders again. I just don't know when it will happen. But anyways, that's number 2 on my list, the tuck rule play. And be sure to stay tuned for number 1. Thank you.